if you want to memorize something, go memorize the role of the project management, the manager, based off of PMI's perspective of what you should be doing as a project management. Not what your organization has you doing as a project manager, but what PMI says, if you are a project manager, this is how you should be conducting yourself. And with that, that will help you work through those scenarios because you're playing the role of a project manager as it pertains to PMI's perspective. And then when you go back to work, then you play that role, but now you have the best practice role you should be emulating in order to be the best project manager you can be. But no, good question. I hope everybody heard that. Someone said, Michelle said, don't memorize the lexicon terms. Yes and no. Um, I always say, um, learn to understand the terms as you come across them, and if once you understand them, you will remember them. But don't go sit there drilling yourself trying to memorize items because I think speaking to a client that I had, they did that on the exam, memorized everything, and once they opened up the exam, none of the questions were matching back to all the content that they memorized because everything was a scenario, and within that scenario, you have to know how to apply that theory or that piece of information to the scenario. So if you take the time to actually learn those concepts, you will remember them, but you won't be actively memorizing, if that makes sense. It's a weird way to look at it.
That makes sense. I mean, I think my biggest problem was that a lot of the terms I wasn't familiar with. What I've been doing is having a friend read the description of what the term is and then
Understand?
me be able to recall the actual term, but then
Hmm.
also matching that with some of the process and people um foundation stuff, going and reading sections of that. Um,
No, that's
if that makes any sense.
no. I hear what you're saying, and it's okay. Um, I suggest, like I suggest you do spend some time to review the terms, right? As you're reading through the literature, do spend some time to review those terms. And this is, if I could get it here, this is work. I don't have my big board trying to, yeah. But let me write something here. And you all have probably seen this, uh, and you hear me talk about this, and uh, this is it's okay not to know because there's a reason why you don't know, right? There's a reason why you don't know, and it's to my point about what you know versus what PMI wants you to know for the exam, and uh, that is just knowing. There we go. Boom, boom. There we go. I think that'll do it. Just knowing that this is you right here, right? You know what you know based off of your experience, but this is the part you don't know, the PMI knowledge and framework, and so that's those three domains: people, processes, and business environment, right? All right, people, right? So that's what you have to figure out because you're not used to those terms and that terminology. You know, if you don't work in an organization that speaks PMI, it's okay. But take some time and review the lexicon. So if you are reviewing something on predictive approach with the work breakdown structure, the WBS, then read those terms about the WBS, because I don't think everybody operates like that on a regular basis in some of these organizations. They don't probably don't use those type of terms, you know. And so, yes, go and review your lexicon, and that will help you get to that point. And this is what you're trying to achieve. So if you go into the exam like this, you're gonna fail. Just trying to use this to justify this. It should be the other way around, right? You should be validating your knowledge, your experience with the theory, right? And that's where you will end up with a failure because you're not learning the theory, right? You're relying on your own personal knowledge to go there. Does that make? I hope everybody's getting that, and I keep trying to preach that to everybody to break you out of this mindset of, oh, this is what I do at my job. That's not what the exam is testing you on, right? It's testing you on how well do you know what's in for best practices. Anybody else? And do you need to answer? Yep. Do you need to answer PMI and their expertise? Yep. That's correct. Great mindset. I'm just reading your notes. Anything in particular? Give me an example.
Well, you said it earlier. Once you've worked in it, you kind of me mentally, I can't say anybody else. I mentally go through the process, especially because I work directly with PMO, but under the Marine side, and being prior military and going through their processes, reading something is very hard to, like you said, don't memorize it, but that's the part I need to learn. So I think that's been more of the problem in the process.
Okay.
Like I said, the business side, easy. The leadership side, it's always been given. It's just
Mm-hmm.
the process
Right.
part that has been the hardest.
Okay.
Yet alone, I'm just restarting. I went back. You were a coach on the O2O.
Okay.
And so I went back and reviewed the video for the third time. And I was just told myself, don't look at this
Oh,
video no
really?
more.
From last year?
Yeah, the
Okay.
November
Oh, okay.
class.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just there today too. It's a weird thing that don't it's like learn it but don't memorize it. You
I
know,
know.
you
It's hard though.
I think if you like the processes, one thing you all can practice that will help you remember these items on the exam is page 22 in your PMBOK, no, in the process group guide is the outline of the process groups and the 49 processes, right? And so by you every day, 15 minutes, take a sheet of paper and just dump everything you know about that, you know, process group, initiating, planning, and this is for the predictive approach. Everything I'm speaking about is predictive. So, initiating, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, closing. We know initiating, we're doing a project, develop project charter, identify stakeholders. And then in closing, we know we're closing project or phase. And then we're going to planning, develop project charter, develop scope, develop budget, develop schedule. So you're developing all these sub plans for this big plan of project management, and you go through that till you are able, and that will help you figure out the linkage to each process, right? project chart is developed, the project charter becomes an input to develop the project management plan, develop scope, develop time, develop schedule, develop quality management, develop risk management, develop communications management, develop the procurement management plan, develop stakeholder management plan. So those become an input to all those plans, and you use a variety of tools and techniques that are listed within the process practice guide, and that will help you to just get the processes outlined so you have a framework to work in, and that will help you with those scenario questions. Well, what should the project manager do, or what should the project manager do next? Or it will help you to know that within this scenario, based off of the choices, this is the next thing I should be doing, or I should, this comes before that when you have a 50-50 question. And so that's where that comes into play. And then also understanding if you want to, um, you know, those management theories, some of the key formulas that you don't, that low hanging fruit that you don't want to leave by, like SPI and CPI, cost performance index and schedule performance index. Those little things like that's on page 311 when it comes to earned value management, right? And these page numbers I'm naming off 22, 33, 311. These are pages that I've identified. You should review those on a regular basis. Daily, have a flow where you go through and you review some of those items to help you a little by little remember what it is. And what you're really doing is with any profession, it's like when you get on a job, when you first get there, you don't know it. But 30 days into it, you learn a couple of things. 60 days into it, you learn a couple more things. About 90 days, you kind of got an idea what's going on in the organization. And then in about a year, you kind of know what the processes are, who is who, where do you go for what. But you didn't memorize it. You learned it by doing it over a period of time and space.